Well, welcome back, everybody, and welcome to our new guest. As I mentioned earlier, I'm Ed Kissman, Senior Partner and Vice President of Sales Strategy for Advancing Global EDU, and welcome to Reaching Forward to our 2020 online seminar. I just want to go through again a few production details for this upcoming session. The presentation is being recorded and we'll provide the recording and the slides to all attendees, and you'll get this with a follow-up link in an email. During the presentation, if you have questions, please use our chat window. We will present your questions to the presenters during the Q&A, which is normally 10 minutes before we conclude the session. And if we have ample time, we will answer more questions. If you encounter any technical difficulties, try refreshing your browser. That usually works. If you need assistance, please use the chat window to ask for help. Of course, we will respond to any technical questions to assist you. And now I would like to welcome our second presenter, Jane Radenhausen with Daly Associates. Jane will be sharing advertising in the new norm, getting back to building your bottom line. Jane, welcome.
Hey, it's terrific to be here, and thanks so very much, Ed. I appreciate it very, very much. Hi, everybody. What a terrific format this is, and it's been great to hear everybody talk. So that is just terrific. And what we are going to talk about today is getting back to advertising in the new norm and making sure that you get back to your bottom line. So, hey, I'm president of Daly Associates, which is the country's largest educational representation firm. And I'm delighted to join such a knowledgeable panel of experts in today's Advancing Global's Reaching Forward 2020 Roundtable. We're going to dive into advertising and marketing protocols for the new norm and get back to building your bottom line. In today's discussion, we're going to chat about ways and examples to help make that happen, keeping it simple, affordable, and real. Now, Daly Associates connects you with every educator in the country through top associations, publications, and platforms that your clients, and most importantly, your potential clients, know and trust. Connect with them through the NEA, the AFT, Smithsonian K-12, Big Deal Media, Accessibility, Compliance, and Equity, Edmodo, the Educators Network, and eSchool Media. We deliver exceptional results and love to create out-of-the-box ideas to leverage those trusted connections for your success. So let's start with some quick tips to get the revenue rolling in again and build that bottom line. First off, tell your story. Tell, don't sell. Talk about your company's response to the new norm. This is not the time to take revenue away from marketing. Help bolster your sales and remind educators with conversations on and in their most trusted networks. Talk about real people. Talk about the real problems your teams helped to solve and are probably still solving. You delivered free resources and helped teachers and administrators get back on track. Talk about how that helped and is still helping. Make the main story about educators. And it's okay to mention your product and keep your logo front and center because it's time to convert the free resources you rushed into educators' hands into an ROI stream, and that is okay to do. Let the choir do your preaching. Do you have several school clients who you went above and beyond for? Educators who are your biggest fans? Identify those teachers, administrators, curriculum directors, media center specialists who use your product, loved your help, and love what you do. Why? Because educators trust educators. Request a testimonial. Be sure to tell them thank you after they've given you one. Give a gift to the school or that educator. We work with one tech support company that had terrific success by sponsoring a free call-in online tech tune-up day for all types of hardware, both personal and school-based. The company had their IT team handle phone calls and remote online sessions with teachers, principals, the district accounting team, the superintendent's office, the school district, and the schools, and the educators loved it. Turn positives like these into more sales and let J. Daly Associates convert them into advertising success stories. The publishers we represent, Smithsonian, BDM, eSchool, the AFT, the NEA, and others, will take those success stories and translate them into case studies, top 10 reports, school diary highlights, polls, or contests that resonate with your audiences. There are so many ways to turn your triumphs into ROI in ways that always focus on the educators with the spotlight on your company's solutions. Here's another tip. Balance out the cost with thought leadership and lead generation. It's easy to see the bottom line increase, the positive outcomes multiply, and attract new ROI. Make sure your lead generation program is guaranteed. And what's a guaranteed lead, you ask? Well, it's a lead that meets your specific title requirements, grade level specifications, district size, or other criteria. In other words, these are not mass leads, but laser-focused leads that deliver the traction you need from the exact decision makers you want. Now is the time for your sales reps to work smarter and targeted guaranteed leads that meet the specific criteria you determine is a first step. And how does lead generation work? Well, let's use the example of the tech day we just talked about. J. Daly Associates will have award-winning editors talk with school personnel, convert that success story into a content syndication thought leadership asset, complete with interviews and quotes from school leaders and personnel. And then it's yours to use across multiple media outlets. And it comes with guaranteed leads. We'll work with you to select the stakeholders you want at the marketing and sales decision table for your promotions. And just don't focus on the superintendent. Sure, they're a final decision maker, and you definitely want their buy-in, but make sure you include all the stakeholders and staff that will influence the purchase, handle implementation, and make recommendations. We can deploy your lead program nationally or focus on territories that need extra support. Leads can pump directly into your lead funnel, like a HubSpot or a Pardo, and they'll be delivered, or they can be delivered right to your territory managers. Is affiliation important in selecting your outreach channels? You better believe it is. Educators, especially the decision makers that you want to have on your team, are sticklers for verification. Their professional memberships matter deeply. Making sure that your messages are delivered by what we call a trusted carrier pigeon is paramount. Why? Because districts spend incredible amounts of money on spam protection and email blocks to limit intrusion into their system. Most of the emails you send don't even make it to your intended recipients. With a trusted carrier pigeon, the windows and doors are always open to let your message fly in. That's why J. Daly Associates only represents top-tier associations and programs that educators trust. All our connections are opt-in, and that makes a big difference in the number of your communications that make it through to your key audience. And that affects the bottom line, along with open and click-through rates. Make up for what you missed. What conferences did you miss? If you're like everybody else, a lot of what you do got canceled. And you missed opportunities to talk one-to-one to potential clients this year. Well, we can target those exact educators with our wealth of association connections. What you have planned for ASCD? You can reach that exact audience of curriculum directors in ACNE. It's an online journal, and your information can be placed directly across from ASCD's editorial. Did you miss out on NSTA and NCTM this year? Well, Smithsonian K-12 reaches those exact educators, and you can connect with them in trusted Smithsonian emails and e-newsletters. How about ISTE or COSIN or Q? Don't wait until November to get back on tech directors' radars or in budgets. Big Deal Media partners with over 32 ISTE state affiliates, and your message can resonate 2 times per month. You can use video, content, and links to 60,000 plus of the exact ISTE tech directors and decision makers you want to reach. eSchool Media can target your technology to administrative titles to set the stage for budgets and to drive ISTE traffic to you ahead of the conference. Top associations with big numbers make a really, really big difference. For example, the NEA delivers the largest education audience in the country, online and in print. That's a big national platform that will positively influence all your other outreach. The AFT's ShareMyLesson.com has over 1.6 million members. Their e-newsletters connect with 500,000. Yep, 500,000 educators you can touch twice a week. Big numbers and a targeted focus both count, reaching educators where they go and where they belong. It delivers your message in a warm blanket of educational trust and collegiality. Let's talk about exclusive access to nationally recognized programs and events. Read Across America now has a year-long presence. It's the largest reading program in the country. And for the first time ever, the NEA is going to offer you an opportunity to share videos, curriculum, promotions in front of millions of educators in one of the country's most championed and loved programs. The AFT, for the first time ever, is allowing advertising to their members. J. Daly Associates has the exclusive reach to this audience of 1.6 million educators. It's like reaching a brand new audience of teachers. Big Deal Media's ISTE Brunch can connect you with key ISTE state and district decision makers. Or imagine a virtual evening at the Smithsonian Museum for educators with online learning stations with your programs across the museum. You think big and you'll get big results. Legs, legs, legs. Can you identify any of these famous legs? Well, we'll check your answers in just a few minutes. Take a look at them. J. Daly Associates can make your marketing go further with the gift that keeps on giving. What we're talking about is creating a program that has legs. That means it's able to stand alone for multiple purposes and products with just a slight bit of tweaking. Take your custom emails, for example. With a small change of links and landing pages, a savvy subject line, and a slight change to the text, you can target a whole new audience or connect with responders or non-responders to drive your message home. We make it easy, for example, to adapt a superintendent-focused case study. We can refresh the graphics and voila, you have a new asset that'll resonate with principals or decision makers in tech or curriculum directors. Let's talk about another got legs examples. J. Daly Associates created a digital magazine for a science client. We created multiple grade level editions using the same cover and some editorial, but we inserted specific high school, middle school, and elementary pages to customize each issue by grade level. We also included some state-specific information. The digital magazine was a big hit with science teachers and science curriculum directors. When the National Science Teachers Association conference was canceled this spring, that science company was able to pivot super quickly, and they delivered a digital conference issue to science educators across the country with product information they planned to announce at the conference. We expanded that reach with links and outreach in NEA emails, AFT e-newsletters, and Smithsonian custom emails to complete an ROI-packed national exposure package that connected with new audiences and reconnected with those that they missed at the conference. J. Daly Associates can refresh that same digital magazine over and over very affordably. It makes a compelling sales tool and can be personalized for additional schools or districts or states. Now that's got legs and it knows how to use them. So let's talk a little bit about what we learned. We've learned ways to keep costs controlled, but create advertising plans that re-energize the bottom line and help recoup revenue. Tell, don't sell. Share your success stories with a spotlight on the educators. This will reflect your company's values and resonate with your audiences. J. Daly Associates will help you identify your cheerleaders and cultivate a community of educators who will sing your praises. Use them as sales tools. Remember, educators trust educators. Make your advertising pay its way. Lead generation and thought leadership should always be a part of your end result. Remember, affiliation delivers trust. Trust delivers ROI. J. Daly delivers through the nation's largest associations on their publications and programs. So think about how special events like Read Across America or sponsoring Share My Lessons virtual conference can not only drive a national marquee presence, lead generation, and big audiences, you're going to have every educator in the country trust you because you're partnering with their associations. Be in their spotlight. And don't forget, you want legs, legs, legs. Get the most bang for your buck by creating assets that deliver multiple uses and require minimal tweaks to resonate with different targeted audiences. So how'd you do on identifying these famous legs? Let's see how you did. Anybody get Betty Grable, the first performer to ensure her legs? Or how about the fastest legs? Roger Bannister's. He broke the tape and ran less than a 5-minute mile. But then there's another set of famous legs. You've got Tina Turner's legs, the hardest working legs in show business. Hope everybody did well on that clip. That's just a few easy ways to implement different scenarios to increase your revenue streams and get back to building that all-important bottom line. J. Daly Associates is here to help and help with industry-leading connections. We're going to help you put together a message that you can deliver to every educator in the country on their most trusted platforms, associations, and programs. You can use the NEA, the AFT, Smithsonian, Big Deal Media, Accessibility, Compliance, and Equity, the Educators Network, and Moto. There's ultimate ways to do it, and it can be done super affordably with a way to make sure that you've got legs and this gift can keep on giving over and over again. So thanks to Global EDU for connecting us all today. Let's get started on rebuilding your bottom line. Over and out.
Thanks, Jane. What we're doing now is asking our participants if they have any questions or any strategies that they think they want to share or confirm with you. Please do that now. And while they're doing that, Jane, for my benefit, maybe you can share over the last 90 days any of the new norm that you're starting to see develop with startup companies that really don't have any awareness in the educational space. You know, what recommendations would you give to them?
You know, Ed, that's a great question, and thank you, because we do deal with so many startups. We deal with big companies as well. But when you have a startup, there's one thing that usually goes with it. They've got what we call a startup budget. So this is where we can really work with them and make sure that their outreach does have legs. So not only will they own it, they can use it across multiple channels. They can tweak it different ways so it really has multiple lives. And I would say with an easy guess, you can create a program that you can use on different ways and different media that we represent. And you can even get lead generation out of it. And your investment is under $2,000 to start with. Now, it can go all the way up to bid programs, but there are very viable, tractionable programs that a startup can do for less than $2,000.
And for that investment of $2,000, what do you think the return on investment would be if they in partnering with you?
You know, it depends on what their goals are. What we like to do, Ed, is really try and find out what is what's going to work for them, because so many people have different end results. Is it
Right.
really a lead? And if they do get leads, do they have the apparatus ready to go that's going to make them keep it a hot lead, get in touch with that person or company ASAP, and then how are they going to follow it up if that's their goal? Secondarily, if their goal is branding, then let's get it across as many pieces of media as we can so that people just know their name. If their goal is to drive beta testing or actually have trials start, then we'll work to combine that to get that in and offer it as a trial program for them. So we like to back up from what their end result is, and then to design the program to make sure that happens for them.
Okay. I have a question from Matt Hagan. What strategies do you success for a company new to the virtual marketplace?
For a company that's new to the virtual marketplace, I'd recommend making sure that everything you do is digital right off the bat. And again, what I'd want to do is talk to you about what's that end result? What do you want to have happen? Is your program designed to make virtual life easier for teachers? Is it something that a school or a principal or a superintendent is your end goal customer? So let's try and talk about who it is that you want to reach and what you want from that person, and then who the other stakeholders are. Because a lot of times people will just go for a superintendent. And the more stakeholders you can involve who help that superintendent understand the value of that program and how that program is used to help teachers or help media specialists or help curriculum directors, is going to make that superintendent pay a lot more attention to making sure that program gets instituted, purchased, and installed.
Okay. You know, a lot of the times when you see advertising and articles, there's those similar buzzwords that sometimes confuses the end user or the targeted audience. And it's very hard to differentiate sometimes your company as a startup versus those that are well established. Is there any recommendation on what you do to differentiate that so that the clear picture comes into the mind of the end user, what they're trying to do in the messaging?
Well, what we'd like to do is really look then at what from a value proposition is going to work. What are the key components? What are the benefits of something? If it's a product that has already been introduced to the marketplace and they want to expand it, then what we're going to do is we're going to help develop a program that reminds their target audience about the benefits. What do they already love about that program? And did they also know that it does this? Zoom is a really good example. Zoom has done a great job through this pandemic. They've busted out their bridges, busted out pretty much from a business standpoint. And their email has been phenomenal on the, hey, did you also know that we can do this? Or, gee, would this feature be a benefit for you? And we can take a great lesson from that and use it for a company that's semi-established but really wants to focus on their features and benefits, as opposed to a startup which really just wants to say, hey, we're out here, here's our solution, and we want you to try us. So we really get in depth. We spend a lot of time talking to our clients to really peel back the layers of the onion, Ed, to get to what is their goal and what's going to drive their success.
Okay. Last question. Any insight that you could share, for the beginning of the coming school year from the educator's perspective as to
Well,
how they're looking for the educational companies to ping them or to be able to provide them with mission critical needs versus nice to have?
teachers were fortunate, and most of the teachers that we know, and J. Daly Associate is a company where all of us are former educators. So we know teachers. The teachers are still our friends. We've actually got an ad hoc group of teachers that I can run things by for a very informal focus group. It usually includes some pizza and some beer. And we're able to really get a very good handle on what are we hearing? What's the chat the teachers are talking about? And they love the response of companies coming to help. And they found lots of new products that they really, really liked. Then the districts came in and basically said, hey, you're only going to be allowed to use authorized district programs. So a lot of teachers had to back up a little bit and not use as many of the free trials that they were testing and things like that. But going forward, they have lobbied and are still lobbying hard with the programs that they really liked, that they thought were easy to use. And I think that those companies, from being out there and delivering free resources, are going to see that come back to them because of their generosity and because of their immediate response in helping teachers.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Jane. What I'd like to do is we can take a break, but as we did with the last session, Jane, I'm just going to ask if you could stay on if new people come in or those all of a sudden that are participating have a question, that you could take that, and our goal would be to see if we could start the next session at 3:20 p.m. versus 3:30. Does that sound okay?
That's terrific. I'm on board. Thanks, Ed.
Thank you.
My name is Antoine Agers, STEM for Kids. Can you guys hear me?
Hi, Antoine. I can hear you.
Great. I had a question about retargeting. One of our biggest methods is email. Pretty healthy email list, but at this time we're kind of I wouldn't say struggling, but we could use way greater conversion. Around 2,000 of our customers we target. We average about between 5 to 10 opens with like maybe a 300 open, 10 click rate. So I just wanted to know, I know you mentioned the legs, which I love that analogy. Very good analogy. I noticed we had a few legs. I just wanted to know, as far as the email, what is a good way to exercise those legs? We target kind of direct. It's very direct right now, and I love the way that you mentioned the mission is bigger than attacking the audience. So is there any insight in that regard that would really help?
Well, one of the things that really help with email, especially Antoine, and I appreciate you asking this question, is that the first thing you want to get them to do is open that email. Because I don't know what email program you use, but a lot of the ones that we do is when an email is opened, it immediately becomes a lead. And that information, the email address, the school, the district size, the address, and phone numbers are all captured. So we're able then to turn around and give it back to someone as a lead instead of trying to figure out IP addresses and work through that. So we're able, just with the capability of our email and the robust partners that we have, to look at an email, it's opened up, and it counts as a lead for you. But what we like to do is to get people to open. It's called subject line. It is the most important thing, because think of how many things come into your mailbox in a day. Now think about educators. They're doing two things. They're not just in front of their computer, they're also having to be in front of their students. So they don't have the time to go through emails and pretty much open almost every one like you might. So when a subject line catches their attention, you're in. That's great. And it can be a fun subject line. We've tested those. We found actually that using song titles work a lot. Um, we had a terrific actually one where what a client did was they sent out a more serious one the first time, and they sent an email out with a query, and it was for a data program for teachers to help with grade collection. And it was sort of a very basic subject line. And what we did with the second group of responders, for people who hadn't responded, we sent them a second email.
Mhm.
And it was, and I think the subject line was some sort of song that said, "What's the matter? Why, did I not impress you the first time?" And that actually got a higher open rate than the initial email. We found that if you hear from an educator and they say, "Yeah, I'm interested in a trial," and you go back to them and they've never done anything, we found that the subject line, "Was it something I said?" with a question mark, has been fabulous. So I would say that. I would also think about trying to look at any other email that you have. Try and make it as simple as you can. We're all used to really fast pipelines, and my guess is you probably have incredibly high speed internet, and you're bumping them up any way that you can, and the computer that you're using probably has extra memory. That's just a guess. Educators don't have that benefit. Most of the time they're at the mercy of the school system's pipeline, which has all sorts of blocks on it, protection systems and everything else. So just by that, it's going to be slower. And then you add in the fact of all the spam protection, and there's another way to go. So a lot of times it helps to really look at how can you get your emails delivered. And a lot of times using text and links works really well as opposed to over designing them. Do any of those tips help at all, Antoine?
Absolutely. I mean, I love the retargeting suggestion about, a fun song type reference, or, kind of just easing, the tension a little bit with the reapproach. And then, you said that actually yielded a better response, and I would assume so, because you kind of got them in that mood, right? They know they didn't open it the first time, or they didn't engage, but then the second time you kind of tickled them. And,
humor works better than guilt, and humor certainly works better with educators than a lot of other audiences. Remember, these, for the most part, are decision makers who are doing the best job they can because of students. So they're already people who are people, and they really love humor. They're inundated, and so the easier you can make it for them, the less time things take to load, and the more fun you can make it for them, you're going to get a better response.
thank you so much.
Sure. Can you tell me what your product is? You got me curious now.
So I'm with STEM for Kids, education enrichment programs. During this time, we are really specialized in the online program delivery. So that's for the summer. Of course, we do some in person, very low on that side at this point, but we still offer it for those who want private sessions at the headquarters. But really, it's the online classes. So they're based on the jobs of tomorrow. So, coding, so that's computer programming, electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, even biomedical sciences, things like that. So we specialize in making those actual working industries into fun activities for the kids, K through 14.
Wow, you're a busy guy.
I am. I really am. So, and being, head of the marketing team, really the only marketeer, as we have a very small team, very efficient, but very small team.
Okay.
I juggle a lot. And I just want to make sure, my due diligence a little more efficient. Of course, we can't all be perfect in marketing. It is trial and error. But I just want to get better at that. I just graduated, so it's like, kind of have a few things on my plate, but I'm excited to take them on. So thank you so much.
All right, terrific. Any other questions out there?
Okay, Jane, well, I appreciate your presentation and thank you for sharing your insight for the new norm that's going to be taking place beginning in July 1st of this year. And if there's any other questions, Jane, you have your contact information available?
Sure do, and I'm going to go back to that slide, so it's right there.
All right. And then what we'll do is in the next 10 minutes, we will have our third and final session, everybody, at 3:30. So take a break, or again, you can stay on and chat with Jane.